Hi folks, it's Mr. Hedicus, and in today's video I'm going to show you 4 ways we can talk about the future in English. After this video, you can choose the correct verb tense to talk about the future in English. Stick till the end because I have something for you that I will give you for free to make choosing the right future tense even easier. So for now, let's get to it. We can talk about the future in several ways, and I'm going to discuss 4 of them in this video. We can use will or shall, we can use to be going to, we could use present continuous, or we could use the present simple. Now which one you choose depends on the level of certainty of the event or thing that you're talking about. There are other ways as well, like the future perfect, the future continuous, and even the future perfect continuous, but those are for our next video. So make sure you're subscribed and you have your notification bell on so that you know when that video will be out. The first way we can use to talk about the future is will and shall plus the infinitive. And we use will and shall and the infinitive when we talk about something that's not very certain that it will happen, or when we're simply giving some information about the future, or when we're predicting that something could happen. Have a look at the following sentences. It will rain tomorrow. You will never finish that book. Who do you think will win the Premier League? She will start her job next week. Will everyone be at the wedding this weekend? In sentences 1 to 3, we use will or shall because we are doing some sort of prediction and we're asking someone to give a prediction of who will win the Premier League. In sentences 4 and 5, we are giving or asking for information. Now we can also use will and shall in other situations. Compare the following sentences. Fine, we'll go and get ice cream after the game. Remember to take out the trash. Yes, I will. I promised that I'll take out the trash tomorrow. The car won't start. Shall I open a window? Shall we go out for a meal? Shall I make you some coffee? As you can see, in these sentences we use will and shall to either indicate a spontaneous decision, to make promises, to refuse things, or to make a suggestion or offer a service. Another way to talk about the future is by using to be going to, which is actually the present continuous form of to go. We use to be going to plus the infinitive in some more informal style, and it's used for things that are planned, are expected, or are on the way. Have a look at the following sentences. I'm going to get my car next week. When are you going to cut your hair? Roxanne is going to sell her plants. Look, it's going to rain. Paul and Julie are going to have another baby next year. In sentences 1 to 3, we use to be going to because something is planned, and in sentences 4 and 5, we use to be going to because there's evidence. In sentence 4, we can actually see that it's going to rain, and in sentence 5, we can see that Julie is pregnant. As these examples illustrate, to be going to gives more certainty about the things that are going to happen when comparing it to will and shall plus infinitive. Another way to talk about the future is by using present continuous, which consists of to be plus verb plus ing. We use present continuous when talking about fixed arrangements or things that have been planned when a date and time has already been set. Examples are, I'm flying to New York next week to visit my mother, or my car is going in for service next month. Sometimes we can use present continuous with verbs of movement to indicate that something has just started. Take the following sentence. Are you coming to the pub? We use present continuous here because we're already on our way to the pub and maybe we met someone and we're asking if this person is coming along as well. Another example is this. Put some shoes on, I'm taking you to McDonald's for ice cream. Now in this case, we use present continuous because the person probably stood up and said, we're now going to McDonald's, put on some shoes, so he's already on his way to McDonald's. Now let's briefly compare to be going to and present continuous before we move on to the final way of talking about the future. Sometimes we can use both expressions to indicate the future, and it doesn't really matter which one we use. But there are cases in which this cannot be done. Let's have a look. I'm seeing my girlfriend tonight, so I can't come over. I'm really going to tell her that we need to move in together. In sentence 1, the emphasis is on the arrangement. I'm seeing my girlfriend tonight, so I can't come over. In sentence 2, the emphasis is on the intention. I'm really going to tell her tonight that we need to move in together. Let's look at some other sentences. Who's buying dinner? And who's going to buy dinner? In sentence 3, I'm asking what has been arranged. Who is buying dinner? In sentence 4, I'm asking for a decision. Who is going to buy dinner? It's important to note that we don't use present continuous when we talk about things that are out of someone's control or out of people's control. So you can say something like, the team who's on top of the Premier League by December is winning the Premier League in June, because it's based on a team's effort whether they win or not. But you can't say it's raining soon, because people don't influence whether it rains or not. In this case, you should say it is going to rain. Finally, we can also use the present simple to talk about the future, but we only do this for things that are scheduled. So, in the case of timetables. Have a look at the following sentences. The train leaves at 9:15. Games usually start at 2:30. The flight to New York leaves at 5 to 4 daily. So let's summarize. In general, the future form you use depends on the level of certainty. If something is not that certain, you use will or shall plus the infinitive. If something is planned or we're making predictions, we use to be going to. If something is a fixed arrangement and the time and date have been set, we use present continuous. Finally, if something is scheduled in a timetable, so happens very often, we use present simple. If you want a quick overview of all the ways you can talk about the future in English, have a look and download my Future Tenses Overview, which you can find on my Wakelet, and I'll put the link in the description. And that's basically it when it comes to the future. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to know when my other video on Future Perfect and Future Perfect Continuous comes out, don't forget to subscribe and put on that notification bell so you know exactly when that video will be out. For now, thank you for watching and I hope to see you in one of my next videos.